Alrighty, let's have a quick discussion on event binding. In our application, in order to search for products, the user is going to enter the actual search information in the text field, and then they'll hit the search button. So when the user clicks the search button, we need to be able to read that text field value and perform some operations on it. So for example, we can take that text data and then pass it over to our REST API for performing the search. But we need to learn about the Angular techniques for adding this functionality. In Angular, you can listen for events with event binding. So in other languages, this is also known as event handling. So here's an example. We have a button. We want to listen for a click event. So when the user clicks something, they'll call our event handler, do my custom work. So this is basically a method in our Angular component code. This can actually be any method name that we define. In our examples, we'll call it do my custom work. Let's expand on this example further. So we have our button. We're listening for the click event. We'll call a method in our Angular component code. And so in our Angular code, there's the method do my custom work. So when they click on the button, it'll call our given method. In this example, we simply do a console.log saying, hey, you pushed my button. Don't push my buttons. Alrighty, so looking at reading user input. So we'll have this input text field, and then we'll listen for the enter key. So when the user hits the enter key, we want to read that text field and do something with it. So up top, we make use of the hashtag symbol. That's a template reference variable for my input. This will give us access to the element. And then in our component, we'll have our method do my custom work. And so my input.value, that gives you the actual text the user typed in. So then we can pass that to our custom method as a string, and then we can display it saying, hey, this is your data, and then we use whatever that given parameter is. So that's how we can read user input with Angular. And extending this example, we can add a search button. So again, we'll simply listen for a click event, and then we'll call our same method here, do my custom work, and we'll pass in the text that the user typed in, info. So basically our example works if the user hits the enter key for searching, or if the user hits the search button. So basically both of those events will call the same method. Now you may wonder about, well, what other events are out there? Well, there's plenty more. There's a focus event. So an element received focus, blur, an element has lost focus. There's also the key up event. So any key is released. So if you want to handle it for a specific key, like the enter key, then you make use of keyup.enter. And we saw an example of that in our previous code. There's also the key down event when any key is pressed. And there's also the double click event. So the mouse is clicked twice on a given element. And there's more out there. So you can go to the link here on the slide to get a list of all of the events that you can handle and make use of. Okay, this was a quick discussion on event binding. In the next section, we'll actually apply it to our e-commerce application and see how we can use this for searching for products by keyword.